uh, done with the introduction. In the second class, we have learned about the cloud computing. So, are we having any queries or any doubts? I will take a pause for a minute. If you have any queries in the last session, you can ask here. So, I think most of the members are freshers, and there might be some difficulty in with the what are the wording that we are using. But going forward, you will be habituated with all the wordings. So, you just bear with the now. So I will consider it as a no. Then I will go forward with the session. Okay, benefits of cloud computing. So coming to the benefits, there are many benefits of switching to the cloud. Their main benefit is the high availability and scalability. So first we will talk about what is the availability. So as explained in the previous class, availability is our application is being available all the time. So available all the time in the sense, so whenever there is any natural calamities or anything, the application should not be go down and it should be available round the clock. So let's say I will give it with an example of this how we will take it forward. So okay, so let us consider there are I am a customer. So let's say my name is Tech with us. Okay, I will write here as I am a customer. Okay, so let us consider customer A. So customer A wanted to have an agreement with the cloud provider. Cloud provider is nothing but Azure. So he will ask first he will approach to Azure and he will ask what is I wanted to go to migrate to cloud from on-premises to cloud. So I wanted to choose this approach. So the Azure says then what is the contract we will be signing. So then he will tell the Azure whoever is the cloud service provider, he will give different options. So the first in the different options it is different based on the SLA. SLA is nothing but service level agreement. Okay, service level agreement. So what is the agreement is the agreement that is signed between the customer and the consumer, or you can say service provider and the consumer. Service provider. Here service provider is nothing but Azure. So there are different type of SLAs going forward. So SLAs will be measured in terms of percentages. So a percentage is nothing but 100%, 99%, 80%, 50% like that. But as per the Azure standards, the lowest percentage that they can define is 95%. So what is the SLA and what is the percentage? So whenever we are saying 100%, in a second, someone is trying to join. If I can take them. Okay. So whenever we are saying 100%, so it is the assurance that Azure is providing to the customer, like my service, whatever the service you are taking from Azure side, it will be available 100%. Means there will be no downtime at all. So it will whenever you use, whenever whether you use in the daytime or in the midnight or anywhere, the service will be provided round the clock. So there will be no downtime. So 0 hours downtime here. So that is the 100% meaning. So when you consider 99, there will be 99.9999% four nines, and there will be 99.39%, and there will be 99.99% and 99.9% and 99%. So I will tell you what is the main difference. So if you consider here 99.99% in the PPT, we can see here. So if you choose SLA as 99%, so downtime of 1.68 hours per week is acceptable. Means 7.2 hours per month. So in a month, let's say in a month, consider you there will be only downtime of 7.2 hours. Beyond that, so if the downtime is greater than 7.2 hours, okay, let's say 99% SLA is 7.2 hours. I will come here. So what is the SLA that is specified by the Azure is 7.2 hours. So if any natural calamity has occurred, like say drought, any tsunami or cyclone has occurred, and if the Azure data center is greater than, let's say, 7.3%, 7.3 hours, if it went to downtime in a week, in a month, then Azure should pay a very high penalty. So it will be in millions. So that is why Azure will be taking very much care in regarding to the SLA. So if you are opting for 100, I mean 99.99%, the cost will be also the same, because Azure is providing the assurance of very less downtime. So if you are, let's say, I'm giving an example. Suppose here if it is 100 billion, but if you consider your project is very high, and if it is here, it will comes like around 90 billion. That you need to pay for this SLA. Here, let's say, consider here you need to pay only 70 billion, because the SLA is very less. And coming to the 99%, here you need to pay maybe around 60 billion only. So based on your application criticality, you need to select your SLA. That is a service level agreement. So you can say like, my application, if it is down for more than 10 hours also, it is fine. Then you can go with 99% SLA. So then your cost will be reducing here. So the amount of money you are investing on your application will be less, because your downtime is acceptable from your client. So this is the service level agreement. Based on your service level agreement that you are taking, your application availability will be decided. That is the main key factor of the availability. So this is the main thing. And you will be knowing more about availability zones, availability sets, and everything in the upcoming classes. So I will give you just a brief of this, what is this availability zone and everything. So let us consider, if you are from India, and let's say some very big disasters occurred, and every all India zone is down. Okay, let's say I'll give here pen. Okay. So here consider this is India location. Availability zone is India. I'll write it as India. So by any means, your data center is available in availability zone. But due to some cyclone, whole India region is down. Then your application will be available in availability zone 1 and availability zone 3. So the users who are in India, they will be redirected to availability zone or availability zone 3. This is the availability zone. And one more thing is, whenever you are spinning up an application, there will be concept of availability set and availability zone, which you'll be learning in next classes, but I will give a brief. So whenever you are creating an application, okay, let me go to the paint. So if you are creating a one application, let's say I'm creating the application as tech with this. So I'm creating an application like tech with us here. So once I have created any application in Azure, what happens is, if you are choosing availability set, so the replicas will be here in the same region. It will be created 3 times, and it will be spinned up in 2 regions. Total, your application will be available in 6 places. So when you are going for availability zone, so your application will be replicated 3 times, and it will be presented 3 places. So your application will be available 9 times. So you need not to worry what is this availability set and availability zone. We will cover this in upcoming classes. So you can ignore this concept if you are not able to understand also. Not an issue. So going forward, what is the scalability? So scalability is also a very important factor that you need to learn. So okay, the scalability main important concept is, let's consider now today is 31st. Let's say during in the month of November, if you are having any sale, let's say or else Christmas sale, consider. So what happens is, all the users will be trying to purchase in the Christmas sale, because offers, the price of any product will become less. So what happens is, they will keep any Amazon or Flipkart. Generally, they will try to keep their sale at 12 o'clock in the night. So what they will try to, if you want to book any phone or something, what the main users will be logging at the same time. So what happens is, at the time, if there are more number of users are hitting that server, the server will be crashed. So to avoid these crashes, what happens is, in if we are in on premises, what we should do is, let's say your application is an on premises, and it is supported on 2 servers. So on premises, it is supporting on 2 servers. So if you wanted to increase the load, you need to buy the 2 servers. So this cost will be more, you need to bear the burden for this. excuse me, once the Amazon sale is done, then these two servers will not be useful for you anymore. So then what is happens is you need to bear these two servers at any cost. Whereas when you consider this Azure cloud, so if you can buy only one server, and there is a concept of scalability. Scalability in the sense, the same server you can extend. You suppose the same server, if you increase the RAM and if you increase the CPU utilization, might be that 12 o'clock sale can withstand the load of withstand the traffic. So just you can increase the RAM and CPU of this one server, and that will serve your purpose. And if you go deeper into the scalability, there are two types of scalabilities. One is horizontal scaling and one is vertical scaling. I'll explain that. So hope scaling you have understand. Scaling is nothing but we need to increase our application capacity based on the time, based on the load. What is getting here, like Christmas sale or any Great Indian Festival, like this type of things. So coming to the scaling, there will be two types. One is horizontal scaling, and second is the vertical scaling. Vertical scaling. So the main difference between the horizontal scaling and vertical scaling is, in horizontal scaling what happens is the capacity gets increased. So what is the capacity is, in the capacity in the sense, CPU, RAM, these parameters will be increased. Whereas in the vertical scaling, what happens is the number of machines will be increased. So here machines in the sense VMs, servers. So these are the things will be increased. So simple, you can remember, like in the horizontal scaling, the same server, its CPU RAM will be increased. Whereas in the vertical in the okay, sorry, this is the horizontal scaling. This is the vertical scaling. Yeah. So I have given with an example also the same. So in the horizontal scaling, we can add more instances, whereas in the vertical scaling, we can increase the size. Increase the size in the sense CPU or RAM. So this is the main benefits of scaling, and it is horizontal or vertical. So here the same we have mentioned here. This PPT also you can refer. Vertical scale is need to add the CPU or RAM, and horizontal you can increase the machines. Coming to the reliability and predictability. Reliability also plays a very important role in the benefits of the cloud, and predictability also. So reliability in the sense, we can know in which region our infrastructure should be deployed, and what is the scaling we can introduce. These all the things comes under the reliability. A second, someone is trying to join. Sorry, Dilip, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, ma'am. Previously, you were telling about vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, no?
Correct.
Yeah, both will serve the same purpose, but what will be the main difference?
Okay. So suppose some, okay, I will tell you that. That's a good question. So let's say if one server, there is a one server. In the one server, if you increase the CPU and RAM, and if it is serving the purpose, you need not to spin up a new server. Okay. So okay, I'll explain you that. Consider one server. So in one server, if okay, let's say they at present the users count is 100. So during the sale time, the user count will be increased to 1000. So what your server will have, if at present you are having 5 GB RAM, let assumption only, and let's say 5 GB RAM you are having,
Okay.
and then you are having 2 core CPU. 2 core CPU. Second, let me explain. Okay. So what is the thing is here, if you increase your RAM, if suppose if the your server can withstand only 1000 users, and if 1000 users are frequently adding all the products into the cart, and they are not buying, if they are browsing, if it is a capacities and they are duplicating their tabs. Suppose if one user opens one tab, it's fine. If the one user opens 10 tabs at a time, so then what is happening is the load will be increased on the server, okay, but the user count is the same, okay. So if the 1,000 users, what happens is, yeah, so 1,000 users sends 1,000 requests, 1,000 requests, it is fine. So at the design time, what happens is one server can handle 1,000 users, and it can handle 5,000 requests, let's say, requests.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is during the same normal period, this count also will be normal, and if the user can perform 10, if we open 10 tabs also, let's say, then how what happens is at a max 1,000 requests will come here, correct. So if during the sale time 1,000 users will log in and each user performs, let's say, 10 transactions, I mean 10 requests, okay. So then what happens is here it will hit 10,000 requests, whereas the server cannot withstand this one, okay. So then what
Okay.
you can do is you can just increase the RAM here. Instead of 5 GB, you can add one more 5 GB to the RAM here, and then that will serve your purpose. You need not to increase the servers, okay.
Okay.
Okay, if let's say if the user count is hitting, let's say 1,500, then you need to spin up the server once again, one more time, okay. Spin up in
Okay.
the servers, you need to do the horizontal scaling, okay. You
Okay.
understand
Please.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, you have any query or shall we go forward?
I think okay. Maybe there might be some restrictions up to this. You can extend the RAM. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we need to do this physically, and sometimes we can set an alerts like if the CPU core is hitting more than this 75%, and we can do it in automatic scaling. So there is a automation also in place which we can cover in the upcoming classes also. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is like virtual machine scale set where it will automatically handle the load.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that question.
Okay.
Okay, going forward, and what is the predictability? So, predictability in the sense here, if you are handling the auto scaling, load balancing, all this availability. See, if you are confusing with these terms, also you need not to worry because in the upcoming classes, if you are listening all the terms once again, if you are going to recorded classes, you will be understanding easily. If any freshers are there, you need not to panic of all these things. Okay. So, and performance predictability and cost predictability. So what it will happen is what is your how is your performance is happening on the Azure side. So this will give a trace of the things that is happening, and it will keep you giving you suggestions of this. So if the traffic is heavily focused on an area, load balance will help to redirect some of the load. So what is a load balancer? So these are the terms are new to the many of the members. So these we will cover in the AZ 104 module. So then you will be come to know on these topics clearly. So just I'm giving a high level insight of this. What are the advantages? Coming to the cost predictability. So this is the main feature from the Azure side. So what is once you spin up a resource, as soon as you spin up the resource, you will be incurred the cost on the things. So let's say if you are spinning up a SQL database here at morning 4 o'clock, I mean morning 10 o'clock, and if you forget to, if you forget to switch off the VM, or if you switch off, I mean if you forget to bring down the SQL database, then what happens is the cost will be the same thing, the cost will be applicable. Then in the monthly report you can see on what parameter and what is the cost that has happened on this virtual machine or SQL database. So and before you, okay, and one more thing is, and if you are a customer, if you are a user, let's say you are a user and you are going to the Azure. So and I wanted to onboard my infrastructure to the Azure platform. So what happens is first there we will be having a TCO, total cash calculator also. So in that calculator you can tell like, what are the things I want. So let's say I need two app services here and one database, and let's say your application is very small application. I need only two app services, one database, one SQL database. So then it will calculate the cost. So and it will calculate the cost. Let's say the cost is two app services, it cost 2 lakhs, and one database it is costing 1 lakh. So it will also give the suggestions like in east, if you set up your if you set up your infrastructure in east US, it will cost 3 lakhs. So if you wanted to set up your infrastructure in South India, it might cost, let's say, around 2,75,000. So it will give all the suggestions whenever you wanted to try to architect itself. So this cost predictability is also a very important thing when you are going forward. So this is the company of built in predictability. Okay. Dilip, we can
Yeah, Bhavanu. Regarding the previous one only, I had a doubt.
previous one in the sense. Sorry.
Scaling only.
Ah, yeah.
Horizontal scaling, vertical scaling.
Ah, yes, Dilip.
You told you will increase the VMs, no?
Yes.
But regarding one of my application,
Hmm.
uh, one token needs to be generated manually based on the CPU, means the machine.
Okay.
It will not be valid if you use that same token in another machine. At that time,
Okay.
how
I will tell you that one. So, okay. So, what is the question Dilip was asking is, so here he is having one virtual machine. So, in order to hit this virtual machine from any user, from any application, he needs to have a token generated. So,
no,
so
not that one. I hosted an application in one virtual machine.
okay,
At that time, I have manually generated the token,
yes,
and this token will not work in another VM.
that okay. For that, how it
So,
work, I'll tell you.
so if you deploy the same code in another VM, then how we if we are using automatically at that time how the token will be used, because it will not work now as the hardware changed.
Okay, I'll tell you. So here we have a concept of VMSS, virtual machine scale set. Okay, so what happens is you will host your whatever the mission you are creating. So if any freshers are listening this, you need not to worry. I will explain you what is happened once he explained to him. So here we will having a concept of virtual machine scale set. Okay, let's say. So what you will do is you will host your VM in you will host your application in one of the VM here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is whenever you are trying to access this VM, so it means like you are going through this VMSS. Okay. So what is the token that you will be generating that will be stored in VMSS side also? It will applicable for all the underlying infrastructure inside it. Okay. So if you what is the concept of virtual machine is whenever there is a heavy load, it will automatically create the new VMs. Whenever there is less load, it will automatically decrease the VMs. What the underlying hardware will be replicated and the same settings will be applicable for all the machines. Okay.
Okay, I don't think exactly will it work or not, because
Yeah, yeah. It will
at that
actually.
time hardware has changed and the token is becoming invalid, so they changed some setting at
Okay.
that time.
Okay, I mean because it is based on the again how we take it forward. So here actually this scenario we have in our project and it is worked actually.
Okay.
Okay, okay, that's also a nice question actually.
Yeah, it is related to passport DL. Wow.
Okay, okay. So any freshers they have listened this question. It is like what Dilip was saying is so I have my application. What I have said in horizontal scaling is so whenever there is a heavy load, what I said is the machines also will be increased. Okay, so here I have machine one, and whenever there is a heavy load, my machine two will be created. Let's say here I have created VM one, so it will automatically create a VM2 because I have implemented my scaling terms. So in horizontal scaling, it has created one more VM. So what the question was raised is, I am logging to this VM using the token, but the same token will not work for the VM2. That is the question. So for that, what we have implemented in our project is we have a virtual machine scale set. We are hosting all the VMs on the top of this virtual machine scale set. So what happens is it will the scaling and horizontal scaling or vertical scaling it will automatically taken based on the virtual machine scale set. So that is the one. If you are having any queries on this also, you can reach me out later also, not an issue. We can go forward. And what is the benefits of the security and governance? So coming to the Azure side, security and governance are the main important topics where Azure will be mainly concerned. So this security and governance will be managed by the admin team. So if you are in under the DevOps, you might not be getting more, but as an infra administrator you should be taking more on this. So here admin team will be taking more responsibility. Okay, so I will give an example of what happened in the project. So I am staying in Andhra Pradesh. So what I'm doing is I'm using AP FiberNet. So my okay, this is my computer. What I'm doing daily basis is I need to log into the database. Let's say in your terms, let's think it as a database only. So what I will do is I will log into the database. To log into the database, what I should do is I should add my IP there. So my IP will be around 160, 238, 74.116 something. My IP range will be like this. So what happens is one day I received a complaint saying that your IP is a malware IP. So you should not access the Azure resource. So then upon checking, what happens is this what is the AP FiberNet that I'm using is that is not an correct way that is authenticating. So all the users that are there are three other project members also in my team. So they also got this issue. Then we have reached our internet provider like it is saying that it is under malware attack, a suspicious attack. Then they said that you need to connect through mobile data. See what I'm saying, trying to say here is there are whatever the attacks might be, our AP FiberNet is not a correct way they are getting the internet access, or through some other mediums they are getting access to our to give the internet for us. I mean serving the purpose. So here, what you should understand is any malware IPs or suspicious attacks that are happening to the Azure, it will automatically detect by the intelligence that there was in the system. So how they will detect is there will be a set of IP ranges already from the Azure side, like some blacklisted IPs. Let's say blacklisted IPs. So might be my AP FiberNet also IP also might be fall under it, and the IP range, let's say 160, 238, 74 slash may slash 74.0 by 30 0 by 24. So my whatever all the IPs that are falling under this range might be all the blacklisted IPs. So using this blacklisted IP, I am trying to access my SQL server, SQL database. So that is throwing that you are causing an attack to the Azure, and this is not a correct way. So then later on, what have done is I have connected through my mobile data. That is some other scenario. So what you should understand is the intelligence that is provided by the Azure, any suspicious attack, it will automatically detect and it will automatically raise an alarm saying that these are not the correct way of approach of accessing the cloud. So these are all the any regulatory complaints. So you should follow all the complaints that are set by the government also. And coming to the security, one more thing is, so in the next half an hour we will be discussing of Iaas, Paas, and Saas. So in that, I will come to this point later here. What is the security? Why I have written taken this point, and we will come back to this point later. And coming to the manageability. So manageability in the sense how you are managing your cloud. So what are the ways you can access the cloud? So first one is through the web portal, and second one to the command line, third one through the APIs, and fourth one to the PowerShell. So these are the ways that we can access our cloud, Azure cloud. So I will show you because I have one subscription in hand right now. I will show you how you can access. So the main URL to access the cloud Azure is portal.azure.com. Once you hit this URL, you will be landing here. So you will be logging to the Azure portal. So to log into the Azure portal, you should have a subscription, and you should have create a mail ID, and you should have a subscription there. So currently I am using the pay as you go subscription, and for each and every subscription they will be giving an amount of 13,500, or let's say I thought 15,000 maybe. So I am using this under free trial. So I have around 13,000 credits. So I will discuss this in the later part. First I need to show is how we need to access the portal. First thing is portal.azure.com. In this portal, you can, these are all the Azure resources that I am accessing here. In the left side, you will be having all the resource groups, app services, function apps, all the things, whatever the entities that we are going to work in the Azure. And the other thing is Cloud Shell. How to access the Cloud Shell is in the search bar on the right side, you have this icon like the square bracket under it, you have right arrow. So if you click on this Cloud Shell, you will automatically opening in one more window. In this Cloud Shell, you will be having whether it is like a bash or PowerShell. Generally, we will be doing the PowerShell. So bash will be coming for the CLI commands. So if you wanted to write any PowerShell script, or you want to execute any PowerShell script, you can come here and you can execute. So just I'll show you what are the things. In the upcoming classes we will go deeper here. Or else how you can do is you can open directly PowerShell. So you can open directly PowerShell, and through PowerShell you can, this is generally in every computer you will be having the PowerShell module. So you can open the PowerShell and you can you can connect to your Azure account. Just you can use like, you can use like connect hyphen AZ account. So you, if you give the correct and give the correct subscription and what is the correct user context, you will be connecting. And if you use the login AZ, login hyphen AZ account, you can log into that and you can run your commands directly from your local PowerShell also. The first thing is you should connect to your PowerShell. So these are the main ways where we can connect to our how you can manage your cloud. Okay. So I will take a pause for a while before we continue to the next topic. So are we having any queries here? I mean, what are the benefits of the cloud? So just we have discussed on availability, scalability, and reliability and predictability, security governance, and how we are managing the cloud. So these are the main benefits in the cloud. So if you have any questions, you can paste in the chat.
The difference between command prompt and PowerShell, Banu?
Sorry, Dilip.
No, no, the same commands I previously when I executed same commands in PowerShell and command prompt, both are executed. So what will be the difference between both of them?
So here in the PowerShell IAC environment, we can have an we can have an script page where we can see all the commands and we can have the output window here. So this generally main the, if you are having any development related work or any development things, generally we will be preferring this one. Whereas command line, if you wanted to execute these two commands in the command, then what happens is the first one will be executed, and the after getting the output of the first one, you will be going for the second one. So it, we cannot have an user friendly interface here ideally. So we will be preferring, generally the developers will be preferring this one. So I will be also using this one only while I will be doing the development activities. So it is like an IDEs, what is the integrated development environment that we are choosing for.
Okay.
So if you are not having any queries, then we will go to the next one. So I will take it as a no then. So cloud service types. So the next topic we will be dealing with here is cloud service types. So already we have gone through these cloud service types in the previous class on the high level. We will go deeper in now here. What is exactly? So before going to the cloud service types, uh, give me a second.
క్లౌడ్ సర్వీస్ టైప్స్లో డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ మోడల్స్ పబ్లిక్ క్లౌడ్ అని చెప్పేసి మన సర్వీస్ మోడల్స్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్ మోడల్ చెప్పాము నుంచి కంటే బేసిక్గా చెప్పాము ఇప్పుడు మొత్తం
అది అయ్యింది రాయండి.
డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ మోడల్స్ పబ్లిక్ ప్రైవేట్.
So we have already covered the deployment models like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and in the cloud service type we have gone in a high level only. Now we will go in the deeper how, what is the cloud service types exactly. So let us consider. Okay, so cloud service types. Now let's say if you are starting a company here, let's say I'm starting a company like Tech with us here. So I wanted to adapt to a cloud. So and now I will go to my cloud provider and I will say like I wanted to take your services. So you will go here, you will go to the Azure person and he will ask like I wanted to shift my on-premises infrastructure to the Azure infrastructure. So I wanted to host my all the on-premises in the cloud platform. So then he will tell like I have three options with me. So what is the option so you wanted to go with? So let's say what are the three options he will be telling is Iaas. The first one is Iaas. second thing is Paas, and third thing is Saas. So Iaas is nothing but infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. Whereas second one is platform as a service, and third one is software as a service. So what he says is, in the IS model, I will give all the infrastructure as a service to you. In the second one, platform, I will give everything, and third one is software as a service. So upon listening this, might be I might not understand what is exactly what is infrastructure means, and what is a platform means, and what is software as a service means. So then I will ask him like, give me some more example like that. So here he will give one good example is, consider a pizza. So might be we have listened already in the last class, but I'll try to explain this the same thing again. So we'll consider a pizza. So if you wanted to eat a pizza, what are the three different ways? So the first way is, you can buy. The first one is, you can buy all the ingredients and cook your pizza at home. The first the first option you can go with. The second option you can go with is, you can directly order a pizza, and if you are ordering a pizza, what you should have is, in your home, at least you should have a table. I mean, on the top of the table you will be sitting, and table, chairs, and few after chairs, and you need to have a oven just to heat it, and then you can eat it. You can have your pizza. The third thing is, you can directly go to the restaurant, and you can directly order, and you can have your pizza. So in the third way, if you consider the three ways, which is the easiest way is, ideally the easiest way is the third way only, because you can directly go to the restaurant and you can take it. Whereas if you wanted to have a crispy model of pizza, then what you can do is, you can order a pizza, and the top of it you can do some toppings and everything, and you can just heat it, and you can have their pizza. And if you wanted to do all the things at your own, then you will buy all the ingredients, and you at home you can cook your pizza. So in the three models, he will say like, I will be comparing the three models with Iaas, Paas, and Saas, and I'll explain you. So I will show you an example here. So consider pizza service. Just for your understanding, I am using this one now. Okay. So in the traditional on-premises model in the sense, now current on-prem infrastructure. In the on-premises infrastructure, let's say so let's say you are starting a company in not in cloud. If you are starting your company in your on-premises, so first what you should do buy is, you should buy your first computers. You should buy. So after buying the computers, you should buy your network cables. So after buying your network cables, then you should contact your power source. Let's say you are buying a power generator here. So after buying your power generator, then you should, for maintaining all the things, you should have a staff, to maintain all the things, staff to maintain all the above three. So these are all the main minimum basic things that you should be doing while you are starting a company in the on-premises. On-premises in the means physical way. So if you are, and on the top of this, the thing is here, you wanted to install your OS, and then you need to install your application here. On the top of it, you will need to consumer data. So these are the things that will come into the picture. So whereas if you are opting for any cloud, so what happens is, the first these three parameters you need not to take care at all itself, because the computers cloud will manage, network cables cloud will manage, power also cloud will manage. What you should manage is OS, application, data, these are the things. So in the similar way, if you consider pizza in the traditional on-premises approach, so you should buy a dining table, soda, gas, oven, fire, pizza dough, tomato sauce, toppings, cheese. So these are all the things you should be made at your home only. So while you consider infrastructure as a service, infrastructure in the sense that in the name itself we can say like infra. In some part of infrastructure he is providing. So what here you can see the vendor manages. What the vendor is managing is, he will you manage in the sense, you should manage at your own. Dining table, soda, electric gas, oven, fire, these all it should be at your home. So this if you can manage, the remaining things your vendor will be providing. Whereas consider platform as a service, only the platform they will be providing and remaining things you will be managing. So consider software as a service, everything they will manage, just you need to go to the restaurant and have it. So by taking this example, if you understand this pizza service, you can relate the same with your normal Iaas Paas Saas. I will show you how I can relate this one. So if you are starting a company on your own in the on-premises, what we are doing is we should buying your storage, servers, networking, and power, virtualization, OS. These are the main minimum guarantee things that we should be buying in the on-premises. Whereas if you switch to the cloud, these all the things, virtualization, storage, networking, all the things will be provided by the cloud providers only. On the top of it, based on your model, they will be providing. If you go for Iaas, IaaS in the sense infrastructure as services. So the OS, middleware, runtime, these are the things we can manage on our own. Just they will be giving your virtual machine on the top of it. If you wanted to install Windows OS, you can install Windows OS. If you wanted to install Linux OS, you can install Linux OS. So based on our need, we can install our OS specifically. So if you are choosing platform as a service, we can choose automatically the what is the runtime below it. On the top of it, what is the data and what is the applications you can manage. Whereas software as a service, all the applications data, everything will be managed by them. Just we need to see the mails. I will show you with an example here. Let us consider software as a service as Gmail. So if I open my Gmail, what happens is I can just manage my mails that are coming into my mailbox, and I can just delete or archive, or I can read the mails. I cannot do anything with the application. I cannot just customize the application as I need. So that comes as a software as a service. We will go each one by one in the more. Consider to the infrastructure as a service. Before that, I'll take a pause. If you are have you guys understand the pizza as a service example? I mean, what is the pizza model I have explained? Or if you are having any questions, you can ask me that, because if you can relate, then it will be useful in the IaaS.
Banu, I have a doubt related to database regarding the VMs, database servers.
It is related to this question, or Dilip, or the other one?
Related to means increasing the database servers
Okay,
when there is load.
scaling you are saying, right? Scaling.
Yeah, scaling.
Okay. So in the scaling, it will be not
No, no,
data.
I've been consideration. See, right now there are 10 records, and while performing a CRUD operation, you are inserting into transaction tables as well. Based on the primary key only, you will insert into transaction table. So the identity value, if you are using multiple database servers, these values will be changing. No, then how it is managed?
See, for SQL databases, we have a concept of SQL elastic pool. Okay, so we will not increase the servers there. Okay, just we will increase the elastic pool usage. So there will be having a DTUs, data transaction units. So we can increase our DTU counts, and it will automatically serve the purpose. So that is a different topic. You cannot relate the VMSs with the SQL databases. Okay.
Mm,
If you in the AZ104, we have concept of SQL databases, SQL servers. In that we can explain clearly. So you cannot relate the VMSs with the SQL databases. In the SQL databases, you should increase the SQL elastic pool. Then it will automatically serve the purpose.
okay,
Okay.
normally we are using one for development or testing these things. One server we are using related to that. So if the load is increasing, you are increasing servers. No, so I got
No, no,
this
no.
doubt.
You cannot relate like that, because SQL server, SQL databases, we are following separate approach of increasing. There will be premium tier, standard tier. There will be different things that it will automatically take care. You don't confuse with both the things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you explain means how to say any because I got doubt. I did not understand it clearly.
SQL databases only.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me check whether I have that ready. One second.
Yeah.
రిలేటెడ్ కదండి చెప్తాను అందరికి
అదే
అర్థమవుతుంది.
కదా. Dilip, I will show you for you once a while whether I have it, because all the people are in one flow, right? So they might not get your doubt actually. Okay, I'll show you here just.
Okay.
See here, we have SQL Elastic Pool. Okay, I think this guy did not relate to SQL Elastic Pool.
You mean for database only one server will be there, or
I mean, it depends upon the architecture what we are following. Okay, for
no?
example,
If multiple servers are there at that time, these values will change.
no, one
So
server.
same values.
See, one server we can host many databases, or we can have per environment we have databases. See here, I'm showing the
No,
example.
the same database in different server also at that time.
No. See, per you cannot host single database in multiple servers. Okay.
Okay.
See here we have this DTU counts. You can see right. I'm drag and dropping. Just I need to drag to the right side. If it is 3000, and I will click on apply, and it will automatically increase my thing. Okay. You can that percentage also will be automatically getting that one. Just you need to do a drag and drop operation in the Azure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Because many people might not understand it out. No need to worry. So what Dilip was trying to relate with the SQL databases and virtual machine skill set, it is a purely different concepts. In the upcoming classes, you will be understanding. No need to worry of this doubt also. Okay, I will resume back to my Iaas Paas Saas here. So coming to the Iaas infrastructure as a service, what infrastructure as a service is? In total infrastructure they are giving as a service. So infrastructure is nothing but in the normal terms, infrastructure is chair, tables, and like that. But in the compute terms, it becomes like network, compute in the sense CPU, RAM, and one more thing, OS. So what is the OS we can deploy? These all the things comes under infrastructure. So here you can see like in IaaS model, the cloud provider is responsible for maintaining the hardware network connectivity. Network connectivity is nothing but connecting to the internet and the physical security. So these all the things will be taken care by the Azure. You need not to suppose if you are having a own company, in your own company you should keep your security guard at least to maintain your company itself. Like what is company in the sense here you need to have a data center. In the data center they should be given some security person to assign for that to maintain that. But all these things will be taken care by the Azure only. You need not to worry of all the things. So what you are responsible for in the IaaS is what is the OS that you are going with. So what is the OS in the sense here if you are going with the Windows OS or if you are going with the Linux OS. So these are the things you should be considered. And one more thing in the IaaS model is if there are any patches that suppose generally if you are using any computer or laptop automatically the Windows auto updation and all the things will be coming. Whether you can do it by restarting or you can pick a later time, that is because if you are using your own system in the same way if you are creating any new VM also the new installations the configurations the updates these are all the things you should be taking care only in the IaaS models. And one more thing is the main common scenarios where we one of the main example of IaaS is Azure VM. So if you are going for any interview, if they are asked what is the example of IaaS, you can tell like Azure VM is the main example because I can just create a VM. I can choose what is the OS I need to install inside it. Whether I can choose Windows OS or I can choose Linux OS because you are choosing the platform here. The Azure will not choose any platform. So so if in the past services it is not like that. So if you wanted to create any app the application the OS under it will be chosen by the Azure side. So just you can think like blindly IaaS is for Azure VM because we can choose our what is the OS we need to install here. So come on, some of the common scenarios are lift and shift migration. What is the lift and shift migration is? So if you are having your company in on-premises, generally when you are trying to switch your company, you will be getting main roles based on the migration activities only. So what is the migration activities? Currently, if you are working in any project and your project is hosted in on-premises, you need to migrate to the Azure. So mainly when you are migrating to Azure, they will be preferring for IaaS only because you can just create a VM and you can migrate your application. So if you are having any queries in migration also, we can discuss later also because this is an important topic where we need to see what exactly we should take care of. And testing and development. So if you are working as a tester in your team, or if you are doing any development activities, what they will be doing is they will be creating on VM, and they will be assigning that VM to you. So you need to log in directly to that directly into that VM, and you can do your testing activities or development activities in that VM. So the mainly for testing and development you will be using Iaas services. Coming to the Paas models, Paas is nothing but platform as a service. Just if you, you can tell like I need to create an app service, but where they are creating the app service, they it is not our headache. They will be managing their thing. Okay, just I will give an example here. Okay, so let's say I need to I need to create one application, new application. So in the IS model, what you should do is you should create a VM first. I'll give a quick example here. My goal is to create an application. Let's say my goal is to create here application. So I will tell you what is the main difference between IaaS and PaaS, because it is very important. So in the IaaS model, first I should be creating a VM. VM is nothing but virtual machine. So I will be creating a virtual machine. On the top of it virtual machine, while creating the virtual machine, I can choose here whether it is a Windows virtual machine, Windows OS or Linux OS. Here I can choose while creating itself. So I will be creating a virtual machine. On the top of it virtual machine, I will be hosting my application. This is the application I will be hosting here. Application. So this is in the IaaS model. Whereas in PaaS model, if I wanted to create an application, it will not show me the virtual machine or Windows or Linux. It will ask me, okay, create your application. So, okay, one second. So just I will be creating my application here. In the front end, I can see only my application here. So I have created an application. But in the back end, what will happen is Azure people, what they will be doing is they might be hosting the application of on a VM. Definitely, they will be hosting a VM or any Kubernetes cluster or everything. Okay. So let's say Kubernetes might be you will be not knowing. Okay, let's say here they will be also hosting your application on a virtual machine only, definitely. But which OS, whether it is a or linux windows or linux or mac, so which OS you will be not knowing. So the main thing you should be understanding is here in IaaS model, you will be having control on virtual machine, you will be having control on your application. Whereas in PaaS model, you will be not having control on your what is the underlying OS you have. You'll just be having control on your application only. So generally for development purpose, PaaS model is very suitable. So I will write here, this is the PaaS model, whereas this is the IaaS model. So just you should be understanding very clearly on these things. Then only in the upcoming classes you can differentiate easily what is the IaaS model and what is the PaaS model. So if I tell VM, okay, you can tell like it is a definitely a IaaS model. If I tell an app service, you can definitely tell like it is a PaaS service. So like that you can differentiate easily. And coming, yeah. So some of the PaaS models are app service, Azure Search, and Azure CDN. So you need not to worry of this new terms also if you are hearing it for the first time. So in the upcoming classes you will be listening. So while I am working, I have listened this Azure Search and Azure CDN after 1 year of my experience. So you need not to worry of this. In the past environment, you will be maintain the physical infrastructure and physical security and connection. Just these all the things will be maintained by cloud provider only. You just need, and one more thing is in the past scenarios, you need not to worry of the licensing or patching or updates or anything, because because here in the past services, underlying infrastructure is not in your control. Only Azure people will control. So you need not to worry of the patches or updates and everything. So some of the comments in as a development framework and analytic business intelligence. So mainly development framework people will be using this all the app services like PaaS services. Coming to the SaaS model is simply sitting and you can see what is the data only. Let us consider Office 365 or Gmail. So when you open Gmail, what you will be doing is what are the apps, I mean mails that are coming to the application, you will be just viewing them. And if there are anything that you can delete or you can just forward or just you can, it is like a waiving purpose. It is the most suitable cloud service like in while going to the restaurant eating a pizza, it is similarly like that. So some of the common scenarios are email messaging and finance and express tracking. Mainly Office 365 products will come here like Excel. If you directly you can use the Microsoft Excel directly. So this is the main differences between Iaas, Paas and Paas models. Uh, Hope you are clear. Are we having any queries here? I'll take a pause. Huh? Sure. Had there. If you are having any queries also, you can type in the chat.
Yeah, Banu, related to my previous question, I have a doubt.
Yes, Dilip.
See, right now you told that you will be using the same server for database,
Oh,
but
okay,
if there is,
database question, right? Okay, okay. Yeah,
yeah, if there is hardware failure and the server will be replicated, no, at that time, if the same VM is up again, at that time how the data will be uh,
okay,
means
okay. I'll tell you that thing. So here,
did you got my point?
yeah,
After
yeah.
replicate there were 10 transactions.
See,
How both will get synced? Data
so
syncs.
let me here. We have one SQL server here, SQL server, and one more thing. While you are creating itself, we will be having three options like LRS, GRS, and ZRS. Okay. So what is the three options? See, if any freshers are listening this class, no need to worry of these things. Just I am explaining one go only. You will learning all the things in the upcoming classes. LRS, GRS, and ZRS. So LRS is nothing but local redundant storage, geo redundant storage, and zone redundant storage. So while you are creating your SQL server itself, you can choose what is the type of replication you want. Okay. If you want the replication of geo redundant storage, what happens is your SQL server will be replicated to the region pair. There is a concept of region pair which Vamsi will be covering in the next coming classes. So in the region pair concept, here suppose let's say you are creating your application in East US. So similarly, a replica will be created in the West US. Okay. So, automatically, if you are creating five databases here, five databases in East US. So similarly, in the West US also, five databases will be created automatically, and in each and every minute the data sync will be happening between the two regions. So as you said, if there are really any failure in the East US, so let's say my East US is completely down here. So what happens is your all the data will be synced between minute to minute from East US to West US. Then what you can do is justly you can point your connections to the West US and your data will be available. Dilip,
Okay.
you are clear, Dilip?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what need to do is it comes under disaster recovery. So what happens is whenever there is a natural calamity or anything, East US will be completely down and they will treat it as a disaster recovery. At that time, we will be having two things: RT and RPO, recovery time objective and recovery point objective. So these will confuse all the freshers, not an issue. So what you should understand is the region pair what is there while you are selecting your SQL Server deployment, the region pair will pick up the data from the other region like West US and it will live the application. There will be no data loss at all. Might be a
Okay.
minute of data loss will be there, and that minute of data loss will be accepted by the business also.
Okay.
Hope you're clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And related to data regulation rules, how this will be going to happen? Means previous related to WhatsApp, NPCI did not clear the WhatsApp pay related.